What's up guys, Brad here, and today we're going to be doing a bracket fight. So bracket fight is a website that you can go to and either create or use user generated brackets. It goes from everything from sports to Pokemon to, you know, food and drinks, politics, TV shows, NFL, horror, you know, all of the above. So very similar to the NCAA stuff, which a lot of people enjoy. And I thought it'd be something fun to do alongside of that. If you want to, obviously, if you want to do it, I don't know if I said it, but it's bracketfights.com, and they have a similar company internet site that is Tier Maker. So Tier Maker, I also plan to do in you know, on this channel, doing kind of like a series of the tiers and the brackets. So Tier Maker, I think I'm going to be doing myself actually, which I'll create my own tier list. So you can obviously pre-custom made tiers too, but I always feel like there's things missing or there's things included that I don't know 100%. So I think it's just best for me to do it that way. And for our bracket fight today, I decided to do with best Gen 1 Pokemon, and a pretty neat thing is it is actually using Pokemon Stadium sprites, which I really like. So first up here we have Onyx and Golem. Personally, I like Onyx a lot better because Golem to me is just kind of like a round rock. I'll tell you, there's nothing really to him. So I go with Onyx here. Next we got Tauros and Porygon. Porygon doesn't really do much to me. Tauros also isn't really that exciting, but I will end up going with Tauros because he is a beast. Mr. Mime and Weezing, I am a big fan, if you're gonna find out one thing, of certain types of Pokemon. There are a lot of them. I do like a lot of the types, but specifically it's Psychic and Fighting, I would say, are the main ones, and then Ghost is also up there. But because I am specifically mainly a Gen 1, Gen 2 guy, Psychic sometimes and Ghost like get kind of combined, which is funny when I'm thinking about cards, at least in my head, right? And to me, I've got to go with Mr. Mime here. He is, even though he looks like a pedophile and he's a weird looking dude, I don't know what it is, but I like Mr. Mime. Next we got Graveler, and I think that is Pidgeot. And kind of similar to Golem, Graveler is pretty boring, so Pidgeot gets the win here. Dratini and Vaporeon. Dratini's pretty cute, and Vaporeon's cool. Not the coolest, but cool. Probably the second in the Evie evolutions. I'm gonna give it to Vaporeon actually. I like Vaporeon. Doduo and Machop. Doduo, man, Machop is my boy. Gotta go with Machop. Arcanine and Primeape. So I know a lot of people do like Arcanine. My buddy Arcanine is probably in his top 5. So yeah, I agree though. Arcanine is awesome, but Primeape is awesome. He's definitely one of my favorites. Omnistar and Charmander. I feel like this is a no-brainer of Charmander. Omnistar, not really. Seal and Articuno. Honestly, I kind of like Seal. You know, he also is a little bit ice there too, but you got to get the legendary bird here. Ooh, this is pretty tough. Dragonite and Alakazam. So my buddy actually does not like Dragonite at all. He feels like proportion-wise, the wings would not keep him afloat. I think he's just cool in general, but I gotta go with Alakazam. Alakazam is definitely up there for me. Golduck and Crabby. I know a lot of people have a lot of love for Crabby because of the anime, but I don't. And I just think Golduck's cool. I also really like Ice, so Golduck gets a nice little win here. Spear and Horsey, I'm kind of strictly going based off of just looks here. I have no affinity for either of them, and Horsey just is cuter, so go with Horsey. Abra and Tentacool, gotta go with Abra. Tentacool, not that cool, but Abra is, you know, just sleeping, he's cute, and he turns into Alakazam, obviously, later on down the road, so it's a win. Bellsprout and Chansey. Bellsprout is just so dumb. I don't really care for Chansey. That boy's stupid thick. Holy shit. I don't remember being that thick, but we gotta go Chansey here. Sandshrew and Raticate. I actually like Raticate probably more than some people would. I think Ratata and Raticate are better than just like the generic first guys you run into, like Pidgey. So they're super fast, pretty strong. They're like glass cannons. That's the thing I like about them. But I have to go with Sandshrew because Sandshrew is so damn cute. I feel like this is a no-brainer. I don't know anybody that pick Kakuna over Ninetales. So, yeah. Bloom and Butterfree. Kind of same thing. I know anime-wise, Butterfree is going to get a lot of votes if you're a big fan of the anime. And Gloom is just kind of weird. From the anime, they're that one where Erica's like running with Gloom in its hands, and who the hell would pick this? I don't know. I'd definitely go with Butterfree. That's just me though. Ratata and Goldeen. I gotta go with Ratata. Like I said, I think Ratata is better than just the generic guys. Goldeen, not a big fan of some of the water stuff. I've noticed that I am very particular about some types, and then there's certain types where I like almost everything in that. So, and water is one where I'm kind of particular. So Paris and Poliwhirl. Honestly, Poliwhirl, one of the guys I really like, and I actually think I like Poliwhirl better than Poliwrath. I have to relook at the card again myself, or just a rendering of the Pokemon itself. So definitely gonna pick Poliwhirl here. He's one of the guys I really like as water. Flareon and Slowbro. Flareon to me is the weakest of the evolutions. I said that really weird. Eevee evolutions. And Slowbro I think is just cool in general. Good solid water guy. So I'll go with him. Plus he gets some psychic abilities too. Got Marowak and Starmie. Starmie honestly doesn't do much for me. I think Staryu is cooler than Starmie, actually. And Marowak is just cool, especially Cubone being such a boss. So we gotta go with Marowak. All right, so we got Arbok and Machamp. Arbok could be cool, but it's nowhere near Machamp. Also, Machamp's card is by far the best in Gen 1. The base set and stuff. You gotta have a Machamp if you're a fan. That's my boy. Aerodactyl and Jinx. I'm not a huge fan of Jinx, really. She's got ice moves and stuff like that, kind of strong that way, but I would prefer Aerodactyl over here. Wartortle and Venonat. I'm gonna be honest, this is kind of closer than I would normally say. I've grown to really like Venonat out of like nowhere. Before, wasn't really a big fan of him. Now I'm like, Venonat. He's bug poison. Bug. I don't know what his what he lays out to be in like Gen 1, but it's either bug and psychic, and I don't even know if bug was a thing. It was, wasn't it? Yeah, there was like one bug move in the entire thing of Gen 1. But, just really cool that he gets psychic abilities. It's a little bit of grass stuff. He just gets a good variety of things. And Wartortle, obviously, Blastoise is a beast. Squirtle is a beast. Wartortle by far the weakest, but then again, all the middle evolutions are usually a little awkward. Wartortle is strong though for middle evolution, but I've got to go with Venonat here. Farfetch'd and Cubone. Oh no! I'm gonna be honest. Farfetch'd is one of my favorite Pokemon, and so is Cubone. These guys are awesome. I like I think the weirder guys, and Farfetch'd is definitely hits in that category here. So I think what it is you're able to trade for a Farfetch'd early on, and he kind of slaps. He hits pretty hard, so it makes me want to pick Farfetch'd, just because I know Cubone is one of the cutest Pokemon ever. Probably has a huge fandom in general, but I gotta give a little bit of love for Farfetch'd here. All right, Tangela and Drowsy. I like Drowsy, but he's probably towards the bottom for Psychic for me. And there's something about Tangela that just makes me feel a little warm inside. He's just weird. So I like him. I'm actually thinking about, honestly, rolling with, you know, doing a Gen 1 playthrough. I don't know if I'll do it on stream or whatever, because usually I like to kind of kick back with my little Pokemon. And I'm thinking about just using a lot of like the weird guys that I enjoy. Because usually I end up using like the generic stuff that a lot of people usually would use, I would say. You know, running with like Kadabra, Alakazam, whatever. And, you know, a starter, whatever. But like if I ran with like Farfetch and Tangela, Golduck, I feel like that'd be kind of cool. So now we've got Poliwrath and Clefable. Well, based on looking at this, I can tell you 100% that I like Poliwhirl better than Poliwrath. And I think I'm going to give Clefable a little bit of a nod here. I think it's definitely a little better. Ditto and Sea King. Sea King, kind of same thing, just a dumb fish. I got to give Ditto. He's got a little flavor to him. Look at him, he's just a big blob. Caterpie and... Man, I'll be honest, I don't know which one's which. I think that's Pidgeotto. I think. We're going to go with that top one that we want was Pidgeot. This is Pidgeotto. And, gotta go Pidgeotto. Golbat and Lapras. So, Golbat's not terrible. Definitely way better than Zubat. But, I gotta give the nod to Lapras, because Lapras, Water Ice, pretty cool. Zubat is the worst Pokemon probably in the game. He's just annoying as hell. So, like Trio. Cloyster and Gengar. This is unfair to Cloyster, because Cloyster could probably beat more guys than I would say this, but Gengar is just such a powerful guy. Wasn't even close. Now we should run through this kind of a little bit faster until we get to something strong, because I kind of told you how I feel about him. Here, I still think it's Onyx. Tauros isn't really that cool. Pidgeot is... Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of the birds. I have very specific ones I like for flying. And I think you know Farfetch is one of them. I've got to give it Mr. Mime. As I said, he's weird. He's like the psychic dude I really like. It's weird. Vaporeon and Machop. I've got to go Machop. I love Machop. So Primeape and Charmander honestly is a little bit harder. But Primeape is not one of my favorite fighting guys. Like, I rate fighting extremely high. But... fighting stuff, when it comes to it, Primeape's probably not like the top of it. I'd say like middle of the road. And Charmander is probably one of the top fire guys in my opinion. So I'll go with Charmander. Articuno and Alakazam. Articuno, like I said, not really one of middle of the road for the legendary birds. I'm gonna go with Alakazam here. Horsey and Golduck. I really like Golduck. So I'm going with him. Horsey is just cute. Sprinter shit. I'm not picking Thick Boy again. Abra definitely gets it. Sandshrew and Ninetales. Kind of the same thing here. Like, Ninetales got a nice free win because of Kakuna, but doesn't really do it for me. You know, like I said, very particular about some of my types. And for fire, Ninetales is not it. Not going with it. Sandshrew, I definitely mess with Sandshrew here. Butterfree and Ratata. I'm gonna be honest, I'm sorry boys. I know all of you guys are fans of the anime and whatnot, but I'm not a fan of Butterfree. I feel like he's overrated. Going with Ratata. Slowbro and Poliwhirl. Slowbro, definitely cool. Poliwhirl is just a little bit cooler. Machamp and Marowak. So Marowak, like I said, is pretty cool, but nowhere near the level of Machamp. Machamp is my boy. Venonat and Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl is cool because of the typing, being flying, and I think it's flying rock actually. But Venonat, it's just cooler. Going with Venonat. Tangle and Farfetch, this is pretty tough because I think both of these are weird and cool at the same time. But kind of with the same argument before, Cubone, honestly, I would rate higher than Tangela, so I have to give it to Farfetch'd here. Clefable and Ditto, I've got to give it to Clefable. Ditto is just so generic, but obviously, I think Ditto is better than Sea King. Pidgeotto and Lapras, I would probably give the nod to Pidgeotto here. Pidgeotto is pretty cool. I would say that's my favorite of the Pidgey line. And Lapras is cool, but I'm just going to give it a little bit of a nod to Pidgeotto. Dugtrio and Gengar. Gengar's getting kind of an easy ride here, because not the best stuff. Onyx, Mr. Mime. I'm still giving it to my boy Mr. Mime here. Onyx, yeah, I know. I feel a lot of people are big fans of Onyx. Like my buddy, for example, he's a huge fan of Onyx. But I would definitely pick Mr. Mime over Onyx. Charmander and Machop. I absolutely love Machop, but as I said, Charmander probably one of my favorite starters, and but the starters in Gen 1 are absurdly strong. Like, some of my favorite Pokemon of all time are starters in this one. Charmander definitely gets it. Alakazam and Golduck. Sorry, Golduck, but I know it's kind of cliche because Alakazam is a lot of people's favorites, but he is so damn cool. Now we got Abra and Sandshrew. This is honestly like a battle of the cuteness here, and I think Sandshrew is just one of the cutest Pokemon. Plus, realistically, Abra doesn't really do much other than sit around. Ratata and Poliwhirl. I would give it to Poliwhirl. I do think Poliwhirl is cool. Look at that stance he's got. Venonat and Machamp. My boy Venonat making it far, but I can't. He's gonna drop kick you to the moon, Venonat. Sorry. Clefable and Farfetch'd. Clefable kind of also had wasn't as easy a ride as Gengar, but had a little bit of an easier ride, and I would say Farfetch'd gets the nod here too. Gengar and Pidgeotto. This is probably the closest matchup the Gengar's had, but I think Gengar still gets an easy win here. Mr. Mime and Charmander. Ooh. Honestly, as much as I love Mr. Mime, it can't beat Charmander out. I mean, obviously everybody knows the anime scene where Charmander's flame's about to go out. And plus, it evolves into... Even if you're not really a fan of Charizard, you feel like it's overhyped, you are a fan of Charizard at some point. If you're a fan of Pokemon, you gotta be kind of a fan of Charizard. And he is not my favorite starter, by far. But I respect that the Charmander line is the best fire line in Gen 1, by far. And Charmander is my favorite of the three. Alakazam and Sandshrew. Sandshrew had a good run. Alakazam just gets the win here. Machamp, Poliwhirl, same thing. Machamp just kind of drop kicks Poliwhirl out of here. I still don't think Machamp's had anything really close. Farfetch and Gengar. This is tough for me because, like I said, my love for Farfetch'd is pretty darn high. I actually like Haunter better than Gengar too, which is kind of one of the things that I have in the back of my mind. Like, if it was Haunter and Farfetch'd, I think it would be a little bit easier, and I'd pick Haunter over Farfetch'd. But with Gengar, I don't care for his design as much. I do get it's supposed to be like the ghost or the shadow of the Fable. I believe that's what it was. I think it's kind of cool, but realistically, I would much rather play as Haunter than Gengar. I'm going Farfetch'd. Which is probably crazy for people. Charmander and Alakazam. This is kind of tough. This is my favorite, I would say, fire. And one of my favorite psychics. What would be my favorite? Honestly, kind of similar to Alakazam. I think I like Kadabra better than Alakazam. I really, really enjoy Haunter, and I know Haunter is a ghost, but he gets Psycho moves. I'm going with Charmander. And Farfetch'd and Machamp. Battle of the Century. I know people are probably like, how is this even an option here? And it's not. It is by far Machamp. Little water sip there, and Charmander versus Machamp. Machamp is obviously my boy. Charmander is super cute and fire, but Machamp can still win by far. Alright, so now we're going to do new bracket. It's probably going to slow down again for that first initial run through of this side, and then it'll speed up when we get through it. Bulbasaur and Clefairy. Clefairy, I know, probably has some fandom being cute. it is kind of it has like a decent episode for itself, but I think it's a pretty easy choice of Bulbasaur. One of the starters, super iconic. This is honestly hard because they're both kind of crappy, and I know some people love Magikarp because it turns into Gyarados, but I honestly would pick Magikarp just because Magnemite is just boring. Growlithe and Machop. So, as you can tell how much I really like Machamp. And even Machop, I really do like Machop a lot. Machop, same thing. I like him a lot. Growlithe, like better than Arcanine, but still one of those things. I'm not a huge fan of fire types. So I'll go with Machop. Hitmonchan and Meowth. Meowth, I know it gets a lot of love, but Hitmonchan is awesome. I don't know why I love fighting types so much. I just feel like a lot of their designs and stuff are so cool. Vileplume versus Diglett. Diglett's just a little turd. I don't know why you'd pick him ever. So Vileplume. Kabuto and Magneton. Kabuto's kind of cool. And especially given this chance that it evolves. The only problem is you get him so late in the game. That's the biggest negative about Kabuto. Like if you got Kabuto in like the 3rd badge, right? Lieutenant Surge or something like that. I think a lot more people would be playing with the Omnistar and Kabuto. Or Omnimite. Which one's the first one? Omnimite. Yeah. I'm gonna go with Magneton here. It's like usability wise, like I'm more apt to play with Magneton than I would Kabuto. Alright, so we've got Metapod and Squirtle. Real tough here, guys. Real tough. Squirtle gets an easy buy. Very easy buy. Vulpix and Venusaur, kind of the same thing in my opinion. It's an easy buy here for Venusaur. I've never been a big fan of Vulpix and Ninetales. And I know it's cute, but Venusaur is just sick. I like Venusaur a lot. Electrode and Zapdos. Super easy buy for Zapdos. It's just a freaking ball. Kangaskhan and Mewtwo. Kangaskhan's kind of cool, but I definitely like Mewtwo better than Kangaskhan. I'm not a huge fan of Kangaskhan myself. Wigglytuff and Nidoran. Wigglytuff by far. Man, they're putting a lot of the kind of crappy stuff on the side. Nidoran and Nidorino, excuse me. Had a blank there. And Geodude. Honestly, I don't like this. I like Nidoking. He's the only one I like. But the rest of them, ugh. And then Geodude, kind of same thing. I'm not a big fan of him, but he's got a little more flavor to him. Evie and Hypno. Like I said, Hypno and Drowsy are some of the weaker, I would say, psychic guys. But I still like them a lot because they are psychic. But Eevee's so damn cute and awesome. Gotta give it to Evie. Nidorino and Pidgey. I guess I'll give it a little bit of a nod to Nidorino just because it turns into Nidoking. Executor and Ivysaur. So Executor I think is super cool. I really like the Alolan version of Executor. And Ivysaur is cool, but it just has that awkward middle stage effect to it. So I'm going to throw it to Executor here. Weedle and Jolteon. Kind of an easy win here for Jolteon. No real challenge. Rhyhorn and Raichu. So, I do think Rhyhorn's decent, but Raichu is awesome. Definitely up there for top electric Pokemon, in my opinion. Now we got Rhydon and Scyther. I think Rhydon's super cool, but Scyther is also super cool. And honestly, I would rate Scyther higher than Rhydon myself. Electabuzz and Kingler, excuse me. So, not a huge fan of the Kingler Crabby stuff. They're decent, you know. And by the way, when I say I'm not a fan of them, I love all Gen 1 Pokemon. Like, I would put all of Gen 1's Pokemon above almost anything that's been printed after Gen 2. Like, Gen 3 and up, I feel like there are good Pokemon. It's just I don't have that nostalgia. I didn't play it as extensively and stuff. So for me, like Gen 1, I have nostalgia for every one of these. Even the ones that I'm like, not a huge fan of. Like, still super nostalgic for them. But I'm not a huge fan of King Lear. Electabuzz, I do have a little bit of love for. Grimer versus Moltres. Moltres by far the weakest of the legendary birds. And Grimer's kind of cool. I'm gonna give it to Grimer. Nidoking and Execute. I was trying to mix Executor and Execute together. Execute. The only thing Execute has going for it is that it turns into Executor. It's just eggs. Pretty dumb. Going Nidoking. Persian and Mankey. I do like Persian. I like Persian a lot. And I'm going to show you that I like Persian a lot by rating it over Mankey, which I do love Mankey. Just to show you that I do have a love for it. Sandslash and Venomoth. So, Sandslash to me is significantly weaker than Sandshrew. I would much rather roll the Sandshrew than Sandslash. Venomoth, honestly, I like Venomoth a lot. I could see myself rolling with a Venomoth or a Venonat. They're both pretty cool. I've grown a little bit of a love for some of the poison Pokemon, and I never really have, so I'm going to give the nod over here to Venomoth. Nidoran and Blastoise, super easy win for Blastoise here. Nidoqueen and Beedrill, never been a big fan of Nidoqueen. I do get it. I just, honestly, I've never ran with Nidoking or Nidoqueen. They just aren't in my like repertoire of Pokemon I'd pick. Where my buddy rolls with Nidoking almost every single time. I feel like I'd more likely run with Beedrill here. Pikachu versus Shellder, I feel like it's a pretty easy one for Pikachu here. Kadabra and Pharaoh, super easy win here for Kadabra, where Pharaoh is just, I don't know many people that like Pharaoh. Maybe people do. Snorlax and Magmar. Magmar got that weird ass head, and Snorlax just that thick boy. Just awesome. Big fat cat. Gotta love him. Dugong and Oddish. So Oddish is okay, but Dugong is actually sick. I ran with Dugong my last playthrough. I really like Dugong. So we've got Victory Bell versus Dodrio. I don't care for either of these, honestly. I'm gonna give it to Dodrio just because I really don't like that. Hitmonlee versus Staryu. So, as you know, I love the fighting guys, and I think Hitmonlee's awesome, but Staryu is so cool. I think Staryu is a really good design, actually. So I'm gonna give it to Staryu here. Now we have Coughing and Parasect. Parasect and Paris and Parasect are definitely weaker, I think, and Wheezing is pretty sick. So now we get to go here. I think this is also a really easy win for Bulbasaur. I know, like I said, Magikarp gets a lot of love, but Bulbasaur, one of the starters, it's a huge boost from that. Honestly, Machop versus Hitmonchan is kind of tough. I honestly would probably give it the nod to Hitmonchan here, just because Machamp is by far my favorite, and I kind of want to rush to get to Machamp as fast as possible. Where Hitmonchan, I can see myself playing with him a lot. Magneton versus Vileplume. Magneton's just kind of weak, so I'm going to give it to Vileplume here. Venusaur and Squirtle. Squirtle, I think, might be my favorite water type of the entire game. And it's also my favorite starter in the game. This is who I always roll with, so I got to give it to Squirtle. Zapdos versus Mewtwo. I think this is kind of an easy one. I really never liked Mewtwo that much. Zapdos is sick. One of my favorites. Wigglytuff versus Geodude. I really don't care for either of these, but Geodude just does a lot less for me, so I'm gonna get Wigglytuff here. Evie versus Nidorino. That's easy, Evie. It's a nice easy win here. This is pretty tough. Jolteon and Executor. Those two are definitely up there for some of my favorite stuff. They're definitely one of my favorite Pokemon. And honestly, I think I'm going to give it an edge to Executor. Executor just is sick, being grass and psychic. And then later on it turns into like a dragon type, which is weird. Raichu versus Scyther. I think this is also pretty close, but I definitely would give my nod to Raichu over Scyther here. Electabuzz versus Grimer. They're both pretty mediocre, honestly. And I'd probably give it to Grimer. I think Grimer's kind of decent. Nidoking versus Persian. Like I said, I do like Persian a lot, but Nidoking is just a really cool design. Venomoth versus Blastoise. Like I said, I do like Venomoth, and I think this is one of the guys I might roll with in that new playthrough, but I gotta do it. Blastoise is just so cool. Beedrill's Pikachu, it's a really simple, easy one with Pikachu. Snorlax versus Kadabra. This is actually pretty tough. Kadabra is one of my favorites, but Snorlax is also one of my favorites. Snorlax is probably my favorite normal type. Yeah, I gotta give it to Snorlax. Big fat cat, gotta do it. And super easy win for Dugong here. Pretty easy win for Staryu. Weezing's okay, but Staryu is just such a cool design. Bulbasaur vs Hitmonchan is pretty tough, but I think it's a... It doesn't take me long to decide that Bulbasaur is the winner here. Squirtle and Vileplume, kind of same thing. Super easy win here for Squirtle. I mean, Vileplume just kind of got an easy run here. Zapdos, super easy versus really tough. This is, I guess, kind of hard, but I don't have the love for Evie as a lot of people do. I think that Executor is just really sick. Honestly, I think Jolteon versus Executor is significantly harder than Evie versus Executor. Raichu, super easy win here. Nidoking versus Blastoise is tough. Honestly, that's a pretty tough matchup. But it's kind of the same thing where I don't see myself ever running Nidoking. Or Blastoise is just one of my boys. I'm almost always running a Blastoise. Pikachu versus Snorlax. Ooh. So basically, it's the face of Pokemon versus my big fat cat over there. Honestly, I think I'm gonna give the nod to Pikachu here. Pikachu just definitely gets a good nod here. Alright, so we got Dugong versus Staryu. So I don't judge Dugong on the same plane as water Pokemon, even though he is, because I almost view him more like ice guy. And I really do like Dugong, but I think I'm still giving the nod over here to Staryu. Bulbasaur versus Squirtle is pretty tough, but Squirtle is my favorite starter. I've already told you guys that, so it's not too hard. This is actually tough. So, a flying electric legendary bird versus Executor. Executor is, to me, one of the coolest Pokemon. I've always loved him. And I always thought it was cool when you went against him with your rival, right? I am leaning more towards Executor myself over Zapdos. And I know that's probably crazy, but... I think Raichu is one of the sickest electric Pokemon, and Blastoise is definitely one of my favorite water, but I'd probably see myself run a Raichu over here. Pikachu versus Staryu, I think it's pretty easy Pikachu here. Even though Staryu I do like a lot. Executor versus Squirtle is pretty tough. But I'm going to give the nod here to Squirtle. Squirtle is sick. Then we have Raichu versus Pikachu. Alright, I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret. I actually like Raichu a little bit more than Pikachu. I know that that's tough for some people to swallow, but Raichu's pretty sick. And finally, Squirtle, like I said, definitely one of my favorite Pokemon. A lot of nostalgia, super cute. It's an awesome guy. And Raichu, I mean, realistically, if you choose either one of these, you win. But I gotta go with Squirtle here. The big grand finale. So between these two, there is one thing that I didn't tell you is I have a strict favorite Pokemon by far. Almost not even a contest between what's my favorite Pokemon. And I don't know if I made it obvious or not, but it is Machamp. Machamp is by far my favorite Pokemon in the entire game. So Machamp gets the win. I do think that, you know, there could be a different based on how the brackets are set up. Squirtle could not have been second. It could have lined up that somebody else was. It just so happened to line up the way that, you know, Squirtle and Machamp went against each other. I will say, you know, anybody that won against Machamp had a significant disadvantage. So you could have seen Machamp actually take out somebody that would have made it significantly farther, like Cubone, for example. I think no, not Cubone. Who did Machamp go against? No, Machamp didn't really go against anybody that was super crazy. Maybe Venonat. I could have seen Venonat going a little bit further also. Because I do like Venonat a lot, but realistically, he did get pretty far. So I think it was a pretty fair representation. The only ones that got kind of a little bit of a disadvantage, I would say Cubone definitely had the biggest upset. He would have made it very far. And on top of that, Dragonite would have made it definitely farther. Seal could have made it further. Maybe Seal, maybe not Seal. I honestly think it's a pretty good representation of how I feel about Pokemon. Yeah. There's not anything I can think of at the top of my head that would be like a drastic difference. So, yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think about this. Comments below. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care.